To begin the rebuild of the open bath damper, flip the fork 90 degrees. Use an Allen key and remove the lockout force adjuster knob from the bottom of the fork. Once the knob has been removed, remove the lowers from the fork like you would any other fork. Now that the lowers have been removed, we can drain the remaining oil left inside of the damper. Use a pick and sneak it into the base valve portholes located on the bottom of the damper. Push up on the pick to open the check valve and cycle the damper to drain any trapped oil. We can now begin disassembling all the controls. Begin with the rebound adjuster knob. Once the rebound adjuster knob has been removed, loosen the 3 set screws located on the top of the lockout knob. Take care not to lose the 3 tiny detent balls located on the inside of the lockout knob. The low-speed compression knob can also be removed, along with the detent ball and detent spring hiding underneath it. Use a 26mm socket and remove the damper from the uppers. You can now set the damper aside and clean the stanchion leg with alcohol on a rag. The only O-ring you need to replace on this damper is the one located on the top cap. The other O-rings are no longer available for this damper. Once the O-ring is installed and the damper has been cleaned, it can be reinstalled into the uppers of the fork. Do not torque the damper in all the way, it just needs to be loosely threaded in. After new wiper seals have been installed into the lowers, reinstall the lowers back onto the uppers. Inject the proper amount of bath oil into the air side of the fork. The lowers can now be fully installed and torqued down to their proper torque spec. Now that the lowers are installed, unthread the damper top cap from the fork. Use a large beaker and pour the correct amount of damper oil into the fork. Typically the correct amount of oil is about 160 milliliters, but double check in the oil volume chart. Thread the top cap back into the uppers and torque the top cap to 24.8 Newton meters. The controls are now ready to be installed. Begin with the detent spring and detent ball. If your fork has a low-speed compression adjuster, make sure to orient the detents in the correct position. Once the low-speed compression adjuster has been installed, you can install the lockout knob. Make sure the lockout knob does not twist too far to where it hits the crown of the fork. Thread in the grub screws one at a time, about a half a turn until they fully bottom out. Once they hit bottom out, back them off about a quarter of a turn. The last knob to install is the rebound knob. Before testing the fork, crank the rebound all the way in. This will allow the damper to suck oil in from the lowers and draw it up into the damper. Once this has been done, you may back the rebound off and perform a full test.